Next, we would like to call upon Mr. Gary Anandasangari, Member of Parliament, Scarborough Rouge Park, to give us a few words. Thank you.
எல்லோருக்கும் வணக்கம். முதலாவதாக முள்ளிவாய்க்காலில் இறந்த எங்கள் சகோதர சகோதரிகளுக்கு நான் முதல்ல என் அஞ்சலிகள். 2009 and 2010 நிலை நடந்து கொண்டிருந்த ஜெனசைடு ஃப்ளீ பண்ணி வந்த ஓஷன் லேடி அண்ட் எம்வி சன்சியில் வந்த 76 தமிழ் உயிர்களுக்கும் பல வருடங்களாக கனடியன் மண்ணில் சேஃப்டி அண்ட் செக்யூரிட்டிக்காண்டி வந்து அகதிகள் முழு பேருக்கும் நான் இந்த நிலையில் நான் அவளை நினைக்க விரும்புகிறேன். இந்த இந்தியா நிலையில் வந்து ஆல்மோஸ்ட் 65 மில்லியன் மக்கள் உலகம் முழுக்களும் டிஸ்பர்ஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கிறார்கள். அதில் 22.5 கோடி மக்கள் ரெஃப்யூஜிஸாக இருக்கிறார்கள். அந்த நிலையில் வந்து கனடா மாதிரி நாடுகள்லாம் அவர்களுக்கு ஒரு தஞ்சம் கொடுக்குற நாடுகள். அதனுடையாக நாங்கள் 2009 and 2010 வந்த கப்பலில் வந்த 2 குரூப் ஆஃப் ரெஃப்யூஜிஸ் இலங்கையில் இருந்து வந்த முழு பேருக்கும் வந்து எனக்கு தெரியும் இந்த நாட்டில் விரைக்கில் வந்து இருந்த எதிர்பார்ப்பு ஒன்று இருந்தது. ஆனால் இந்த நாட்டுக்கு வந்து சேர்ந்த ஒரு அந்த எதிர்பார்ப்பை நாங்கள் மீட் பண்ணவில்லை என்று நான் நம்புகிறேன். கனடியன் சட்டத்தின் படி மற்றது கனடியன் பொலிட்டிக்கல் லீடர்ஷிப்பை பொறுத்தவரையில்லை கப்பலில் வந்த 2 கப்பலில் வந்த தமிழ் மக்களும் வந்து இந்த நாட்டுக்கு ஒரு எதிரான ஒரு காரணத்துக்கு தான் வந்திருக்கிறார் என்ற ஒரு அபிப்பிராயம் ஒன்று இருந்தது. So when our refugees, Tamil refugees were coming to Canada in 2009 and 2010, it was clear that they were not welcome in this country. But I can tell you today, as a member of this government, as a member of the current government, and as parliamentary secretary, that every single refugee that's come to Canada is welcome. And particularly, every single refugee that's come from Sri Lanka will have due process, will be respected as human beings, and will be given every single opportunity to make the case. And that's a commitment that I have made to each and every one of you here, those who came on the boat, those who came on both of the boats. And as an office, I know many of you know Doreen, we will undertake to work with every single one in order to get your claims through, and we've been doing that. So I want to just take this opportunity to recommit to that. Documentation is very important. When we look at what happened in 2009, we know that over the years, many inquiries have taken place, including the inquiry by the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. And in 2015, there was a finding of war crimes and crimes against humanity. And that happened because of documentation. Documentation that was given by those who survived, many of you who are in this room today. But that documentation needs to continue. It needs to continue in many ways. It needs to continue in order to make the case for genocide. We need to have a fact-finding from the international community in that respect. We also need documentation in order to prosecute criminals, prosecute leaders or anyone who may have been part of the chain of command in Sri Lanka. And that documentation is still being undertaken. I know there's organizations in Canada who are still doing it, and there's also organizations overseas like the International Truth and Justice Project. But it's also important to memorialize and to understand and to be able to reflect on this for the generations to come. And that's why the books that are released today in both Tamil and in English are so important. And when Pranavan called me and said, ISBN number, that is very significant, because which means that the intention of the book is for it to have readership outside of the Tamil community. In every library, in every university setting, we need to be able to send our message, make people understand what happened to our people. And that is why the stories that have been gathered in these books is so important. And that's why I think more of this needs to happen. This morning, there was a release, book release on the No Fire Zone by Dr. Varadaraja. And I know there's many more documentary evidence that are coming forward. And this is important that we continue to gather. But this month, this May 18th, is also an important time to recommit to what we are and who we are. Recommit to ensuring that ultimately the people in the North and East can live with self-determination, live in freedom and equality, and also live where they do not have to be forced to reconcile with someone who is not ready to reconcile with them. And I've said it many times. We talk about the word reconciliation all too often. It is not up to the oppressor to reconcile. It is not for them to say, I reconcile with you. It is up to the victim communities to say, I am ready to reconcile. You have met every condition for reconciliation to take place. And until and unless that happens, reconciliation is a long, long, long way off. And in order for us to get there, we need accountability. Accountability for crimes that were committed. Accountability for people who have committed war crimes, crimes against humanity and genocide. We know the evidence is there. We know that the Sri Lankan government has committed to the international community to undertake a proper investigation, including foreign and Commonwealth judges, jurists, and investigators, but they have failed to do that. And ultimately, if they continue to fail to do that, then it will be on the international community's responsibility to continue that work. So on this solemn day, on this day where we look at what we have lost, let's also understand what we still have. We have all of you. There are many of you here as witnesses. And you will go to your grave being a witness. And your children will go to their grave being children of those witnesses. And that's why our light will continue to light very around the world. Because we have people around the world. And your governments are listening to you. Whether it's municipal, provincial, or federal government, we are listening to you. And we will continue to listen to you, and we will continue to support this community, and we will continue to ensure that we get justice, the justice that's required for us to be able to live in peace and security. Thank you.
நன்றி கனேடிய நாடாளுமன்ற உறுப்பினர் கேரி ஆனந்த் சங்கரி அவர்களுக்கு. மிக முக்கியமான பல விடயங்களை அவர் சுட்டிக்காட்டியிருந்தார். மீளிணக்கம் என்பது என்ன, அது எங்கிருந்து தொடங்கப்பட வேண்டும், பொறுப்பு கூறல் என்பது என்ன, இதுவரையும் நடக்க முடியாதது நடக்காதது எல்லாம் என்ன, மிக அருமையாக அவர் தன்னுடைய கருத்துக்களை முன்வைத்திருந்தார்.